As soon as you relocated abroad, you started sending money to your family back home. You've probably been sending money to your brother, your sister, mom and dad, your fiance, or the wife you left back in Africa. And now you've probably reached a stage where you are tired. Trust me, for I know how it feels to constantly send money to people who constantly have new demands coming up every day. So I totally get your frustration. But have you heard of the statement that it is better to teach someone how to catch fish than to keep giving them fish all the time? So what if I told you that there is actually a way for you to do that while being far away from your loved ones? Distance shouldn't be a barrier, alright? So today I am going to be disclosing to you machines that you would send to your loved ones back home and they will never ever disturb you again. I can assure you, go-getter, that if you buy any of these machines and send to your loved ones back home, they will become financially independent in no time and even be capable of lending you a helping hand whenever need be. And hey, though the diasporans are the main target in this video, you aren't left behind if you fall in the category of those here in Africa who still go through the stress of sending money to family members all the time. And hey, go-getter, endeavor to watch this video till the end, for I have a bonus for you somewhere in between that you don't want to miss. So the first machine I would advise you send to your loved ones in Africa is an ice cube making machine. This is for those loved ones of yours who want to do their business from the comfort of their home. Though at home, I would advise you go for the commercial one. This is because it comes along with a compressor, a condenser, and an evaporator. And it produces ice faster because the freezing element is placed directly in the water. And hey, go-getters, with just $1,000, you could actually lay your hands on a good ice cube making machine that is going to be producing about 130 ice cubes per day. And mark you, go-getter, the profit margin of an ice cube making machine is so high. Generally, it ranges from 50 to 80%. Imagine buying a machine for just $1,000, which is your fixed capital, and making about 130 ice cubes per day with just water as your raw material. All you need to pay keen attention when buying this machine is where are you going to be locating it exactly? A place with a good drainage system, you are good to go. This is that machine, go-getter, that if you buy for your loved one in Africa, they will forever be grateful to you because this is something that is easy to start. They can actually do it from the comfort of their home, and they can actually own a business in Africa without necessarily going through the hazards of owning a business. This business is actually one of the best. For one, the cost of production is very low because they are using just water as raw material. And secondly, there is very little or low maintenance for the machine. And to crown it all, the risk is very low because to get clients for such a business is very easy. In Cameroon, for instance, that is in West Africa or Central Africa, a lot of people consume a lot of alcohol. So they therefore go to snacks or bars in the evening. Though some people go during the day, but generally a greater majority will go to bar or snacks in the evening. Now, they just need to get themselves to those places and create contacts there. Have some deals done in order for them to supply ice cubes to those bars and snacks. Do you know the amount of ice cubes that snacks, for instance, consume per day? Hey, hello, it is a lot. Now, the second place you could go to get deals to supply your ice cubes is supermarkets. Yes, a lot of people buy ice cubes from supermarkets. I equally get ice cubes from supermarkets whenever I need to host people at home, and a lot of people do the same. The third option is those who sell fruit juice by the roadside. It could be fast food joints or whoever you know sells fruit juice by the roadside. You can go to them and offer to supply your ice cubes to them. Now, talking about fruit juice, let me take you to the second point, which is actually frozen drink machines. Yeah, the frozen drink machine is one of those machines that you could buy for your loved one to be financially independent. So this machine simply mixes or produces juice of all type for events or occasions. This is one of those machines that are so appropriate for Africa. You know, we've got the scorching sun and the extravagant heat in Africa. And generally, people will love to feel refreshed by getting some cold drink. This machine is actually suitable for places like events, that is birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, promotion celebrations, and you name it. They are equally suitable to be placed in front of places like schools, markets, hospitals, and you name it. Now, the advantage with this machine is that it easily mixes juice and has got a dispenser at the end of it to dispense the juice. So you could actually mix a variety of juice. You could maybe go for fruit juice, punch, and cocktails, why not? So this is that one machine that I am pretty sure that if you buy and send to your loved one in Africa, they are certainly going to be making a lot of money. Now, if your loved one is that one person who doesn't want to go out of their comfort zone, that is, doesn't want to go out of their home, this business is actually home friendly. They could simply place this machine right in front of their home and the passerbys are going to be buying. You know, there are these places where administrative buildings are congested, right? And such people generally go out at about 11, 12, 1 p.m. to get some refreshment. So this is something that could do very well. I have this friend whose sister actually does this business and targets only such places, and I can assure you that she makes a lot of money. The objective is placing it where there are a lot of offices, companies, or whatever. And if you're wondering how much it could cost, with just about $5,000 you could lay your hands on a frozen drink machine. So if you've got some money, you could get this machine for your mom, your sister, your fiance. And the good thing is there is basically no specific skill needed to operate this machine. The next on our list, we are going to be talking about the embroidery machine. Yes, this machine is very suitable for your loved ones in Africa. You've got a loved one who is talented in arts, crafts, and everything. So if you don't know, an embroidery machine is actually there to create pattern on a fabric. You've probably gone to a hotel and seen the hotel's name embroidered on various things. Let's assume you go to a hotel, Africa Today hotel, right? So you're going to be finding things like Africa Today embroidered on the towels, Africa Today embroidered on the bed sheets and the bedspreads, Africa Today embroidered on the room slippers. That's what the embroidery machine does. Now, some people do that on their uniforms, that is, their t-shirts, at times on their face caps, and many other items. Now, given the fact that we are in an African context, this machine is actually more lucrative in Africa than anywhere else. And I am going to be telling you why. But before we do that, please endeavor to like this video already and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. But on here, we talk about everything entrepreneurship, personal development, and basically everything that brings in money into your pockets. And if you really love what we do here, you could go ahead and subscribe to the membership and join the goal-getter community. Now, back to what I was saying. You know, in our African culture, we wear a lot of embroidered dresses. We've got these dresses that in Cameroon we generally call gandura, and in Nigeria they might call it agbada, and in places like Benin they call it bubus. So these dresses generally are full of embroidery. So we wear a lot of embroidered dresses, and we do that with the embroidery machine. And mark your goal-getter, the biggest advantage with this machine is the fact that embroidery supplies are actually very cheap. But ironically, embroidery on any fabric is actually very expensive. And that literally means that the cost of running this business is very low, while the profit margin is very high. So the low cost of production makes it very much profitable for whoever runs it. The only thing you need to really pay attention to when buying this machine is its quality and its power. So with just about $1,000 to $1,300, you could get this machine for your loved one. Next on, we've got the yogurt maker machine. This machine is composed of a boiler, an incubator, and a kettle and pump used to do the filling. It is going to take about 6 to 10 hours for your yogurt to be ready, but once it is ready, it could last a whole 2 weeks. So this is some business that you could actually help someone like your mom start up back in Africa. If your mom wants to do something from the comfort of her home, this business is very suitable for her, alright, because she could just do it and sell in front of her home, and the neighbors know they are going to be buying. The passerbys are equally going to be buying, and if she is located around a busy place, maybe a school or something, she is going to make a lot of sales. So if you're interested in this business for your mom, for instance, with just $100, you can get this yogurt maker machine from Alibaba or Amazon. Now on to the next, we are going to be talking about the soap cutting machine. This is some machine that is very necessary in Africa right now. Let's assume you've got a sister who is maybe interested in skincare. This business is suitable for her because a lot of young girls nowadays are actually embarking on the production of skincare products, and soap is not an exception, alright? So in order for her to make something that will be very smooth, aesthetically pleasing, and ready to compete with other brands on the market, she will need a soap cutting machine. This machine is so necessary for soap makers because it actually enables them to cut soap bars into precise shape and sizes. This machine is going to save her time, therefore increasing her production, right? There are actually two types, the automatic and the manual one. So you go for which one suits your budget and her preferences, alright? Just look around and you're going to notice that a lot of women are into organic products and organic soap making. So that's why I talked about she. Now the price of a soap cutting machine will range from $500 to about $30,000 depending on the capacity, all right? There are companies that produce in mass and produce tons and tons and tons of soap. They are the ones going for those very expensive ones. But you could as well take an average one, let's say maybe $500 to $1,000, and send to your loved one for them to start their journey to financial independence. Next on, we are going to be talking about silicone molding machine. A silicone molding machine nowadays is one of the best things you could offer someone to kickstart their entrepreneurial journey with. And do you know why? Let me walk you through some of the reasons, alright? A lot of people use silicone moldings for a lot of products. It is actually used for the production of things like soaps, candles, and some people also use them for baking. For there are silicone baking pans, and that's just to name a few. There are a lot of other variety of things that people use silicone molding for. So if you want to actually make your relative financially independent as soon as possible in Africa, a silicone molding machine will be one of the best things you will do for them. So if you are wondering, this machine is going to form silicone molds of different shapes and sizes depending on the customer's demands. Now, how does it work? So the machine uses what is called the injection molding process to shape silicone material into various items. Now, if you are interested in such a machine, the good news is you will just need about $500 to $5,000 to lay your hands on a silicone molding machine. So the prices actually vary depending on the capacity and the complexity of what you're going for. The next business idea that you could help your loved ones start in Africa and never disturb you again is something that has been on for ages, but that will never die, for the demand is always high in Africa. So if you've guessed, we are talking about the ice cream making machine. It is needless for me to remind you about the scorching sun and the extreme heat that we've got in Africa. So ice cream is something that will always have its place in Africa, and people, no matter their age, consume ice cream all the time, therefore making that business have a very high return on investment. Now, if you're interested, we've actually got two types. We've got the soft serve ice cream machine and the batch freezer ice cream machine. But I would advise you go for the soft serve ice cream machine because that one is almost indispensable in Africa, for it is the ones that you commonly see by the roadsides, in front of shops, in front of schools, at junctions, at the entrance of markets, and you name it. Another reason why this machine is very creative in Africa is the fact that you know the way we love to throw parties, and especially kids' birthday parties. Ice cream is something that you would find at birthday parties. The soft serve ice cream machine will generally cost from $500 to about $2,500, but by the time it reaches Africa, generally we would spend about $3,000 or so because of the customs and everything in between. So this is some business that you can actually spend $3,000 and make your loved one financially independent. That leads us to the next, which is popcorn machine. Yes. Popcorn is something that sells like wildfire in Africa and even in other places across the globe. Popcorn is something that you would commonly find besides schools, markets, hospitals, birthday parties, and basically everywhere you find traffic. A popcorn business is something that is very easy to run for. You don't really need any specific skills for that. Now, if you're interested, there are 3 main types of popcorn machines. We've got the stovetop popcorn machine that actually requires the stove to heat the pot. And secondly, we've got the microwave popcorn maker that actually requires to be in a microwave in order to function. Now, we've got the third type, which is the hot air popcorn maker. And just as the name says, it actually requires hot air to pop the grains. Now, this is some business that literally everyone could start, alright? So even if your mom is older, she could equally cope with the popcorn business because this is something that is easy to make. For you will just be needing things like oil, seasoning flavor, salt and sugar, which are optional, and the grains. This is something that could be well commercialized even in front of her compound. So I would advise you go for the stove popcorn maker, for it is actually the most commonly used popcorn maker. And with just about $1,000, you could get it for your loved one. Next on, we'll be talking about the sugar floss machine. I guess you've probably gone to parties or ceremonies and seen children play around with an inflated balloon-like something that they are enjoying so much. That is exactly what we are talking about. It is simply granulated sugar that is rotated with food coloring to provide a candy floss. These are things that are suitable for places like schools, event areas, playgrounds, parks, parties, and you name it. Basically, wherever little children are found because they are the most ones fond of sugar floss. And the good news is that this is something that you don't need to spend much to send to your loved one. With just about $200 to $500, you can get a very good sugar floss machine. Now, on to the next, we're going to be talking about the chocolate fountain machine. Just as the sugar floss machine, it is very popular at event areas, birthday parties, anniversaries, and many more. If you don't know what it is actually a fountain-like instrument in a bowl-like something that is used to serve chocolate fondant to people at events, and kids love it so much. And it is even the least expensive on our list. With just about $30, $300 to $1,000, you can get a chocolate fountain for your loved one. Now, goal getter, if you've watched this video till this level, I believe you deserve this bonus I am going to be giving you right now. Do you know that if you've got a little bit more funds to sacrifice for your loved one, you could actually create a little business empire for them? Now, you are going to be centering it around catering services or event planning. Alright, now this is a mini something, alright? This is just something that they will have, basically all those cute little things that are found in parties or events. Let me break it down to you. We've talked about the popcorn machine, right? We've talked about the chocolate fountain machine. We've talked about frozen drink machine. We've talked about ice cream machine, and we've talked about the sugar floss machine. Do you know that if you've got just about $5,000, you could actually buy all of these machines and send them to your loved ones to offer those services at parties or events? All of these are things that are highly consumed, especially in kids' parties. So your loved one could still decide to specialize only on kids' parties. You know, we the Africans love to throw parties a lot, especially when it has to do with our kids. We could still ignore our own events, but when it comes to our kids, like our kids' birthdays, we don't joke. So your loved one could simply maybe specialize on kids' events to supply these machines and make good money. Talking about kids' birthday parties, imagine the amount of birthday parties that are held per week. And if your loved one actually has a good online presence and really makes people know that they offer such services, they are going to be making a lot of money. And hey, lovely go-getter, that's not all. I have another bonus for you that wasn't mentioned in the video at all. This is something that I had mentioned in one of my previous videos, and I am bringing it back to this video because it is very relevant to our subject matter right now. Have you gone to a party and saw people dancing and rotating on something that turns round and takes good videos of them while they dance? That's commonly called a 360. This is something that if you add up to these things I just talked about, your loved one will become a millionaire in Africa in no time, and I mean every word of it. So go getter, hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please share it with others, for we need to actually empower our loved ones economically so that we could as well feel some breeze and not have sleepless nights pondering on how to cope with taking care of our own bills and catering for them back home at the same time. Because as you know, most times family members back home don't realize the challenges you are facing back there as diasporans. All they say is, I've got my millionaire son, I've got my millionaire daughter abroad. And most times it takes a toll on you. So this is some good solution that I've got for you that if you actually implement, you are going to gain some amount of freedom to enjoy your own money without any headache. That said, thanks for watching this video, as I'll see you on my next one.